Hey y'all, I am back. So we are going to be discussing something interesting today. Actually started off as a joke, and then I was discussing last night how Tesla said he was married to a pigeon, and then it kind of escalated from there. My thinking, how it goes, it just starts going. So I thought we would talk about Tesla's quote unquote pigeon wife and more, actually. Um, how are y'all today? Let me scoot this back so I can read the comments. Okay. So have y'all heard this before, that Tesla says that he was married to a pigeon and he would often like feed the pigeons in the park? Sorry. And so on and so forth. Okay, so the reason why I chose this is because I actually decoded this, on my Patreon. If you guys are wanting to see it on, you know, online, typed out with photos and stuff like that, and examples of the decoding and the breakdown, it is on my Patreon, which is linked below in the description. So you will be able to do that. But pigeon is code. It's not an actual bird, it's code for something. So pigeon is also the same thing as a dove. They're the same species. They're the same, except some in color are different, but they are basically the same. So species, pigeon and dove are the same. So a pigeon, to me, I just started breaking down the word because that's what I do. So pi, G, aeon. And so I break down the word pigeon. Pi, G, aeon. So of course, then I define all of those things on my Patreon, but it basically means the Trinity, the quote unquote Holy Spirit, the quote unquote higher Godhead, divine feminine energy, matrix, all that, mother matrix. So basically, he said he was married to that aspect of the mother matrix, divine feminine energy as Godhead. And then he goes on to talk about how in the future that women would be superior in intellect and being able to pick up wireless signals better than men because we are highly electromagnetic. We hold more water in our bodies, and we're just made a little bit differently biologically than men. So we would be superior in picking up on certain frequencies and things like that. And we would allow for technology to actually be greater than it could be. And so this is why you have like a lot of women, a lot of females saying, um, their intuition is definitely growing, especially with the technology that's also being used now. It's like you could pick up on something before it happens because of the wireless. Um, and since we hold more fat and we have breasts and wombs and children and things like that, and cycles, we hold more water, which is also able to conduct more electromagnetic signals. So, yeah, Nikola Tesla, said that he predicted that women would be far more superior in the future due to this gender um, and electromagnetic frequency. Okay, and so that's why he said he was married to a pigeon, because it represents the higher dark feminine aspect, or the matrix, or the womb, or and his favorite person, one of his favorite people, was his mother. He would always write his mother letters, venting to her, telling her stuff, da, da, da. So matrix, mother, womb. He was said to be celibate and only focused on his work. Now, a lot of people get this confused with, being a male empowered person that never got married to a woman and focused on their work, and they call that MGTOW, whatever. But it was actually the complete opposite. He honored women to the highest degree, did not want to disrespect them, knew that they were superior. It would never choose, like, to have to choose between his work and, being um, all that he could be to some woman. So he used what he knew in his knowledge. And there's parts in this book where he goes off and says that he goes off with many women and different women and learns about them and all this kind of stuff. So he talks mostly about women in his book, like in good ways. So he was never a chauvinist or anything like that, I don't think, as far as my understanding. Now, if you're looking to find something negative, but you will, but if you're looking at the science of it and the frequency of it, you're not going to find anything negative. If you're going to break down the words and the codes of things, you're going to find the truth. So that's what I'm here for. That's what I do. And so, yes, he was married to a Pigeon, and he lived in a hotel. We all know them hoes tale. And he has, it was said that he had to walk around 3 times, or he walked around 3 times before he could enter the door. So he lived somewhere that was, the hotel is code for something else too. Y'all know that. um, so if your body is a house, let's say you were married to a woman, or if you're a woman, you're married to a man, that would be your home, your house, your but if you're not married to somebody and you're just visiting, then that would be a hotel, a temporary place where you go and live and go as you please. But Tesla was said to live in a hotel, and I think it was room 33, which is very significant if you know what that means. And he would ask the cook to create special seeds or seed mix or bird seed mix to go feed his pigeons. So he would be planting seeds in the pigeons. Okay, y'all know what that means. Planting seeds in the pigeons, which would be the matrix, the womb. It could also represent manifesting. That could also represent planting thoughts, planting information, planting electromagnetic frequencies and thoughts into women. You never know. Showing them certain things, blah, 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 blah. Because if you think about it, women did not hold Tesla back. Women did not rob him of his, greatness, or they did not try to take anything from him. They did not try to weaponize things when he created them. They did not try to say things against his invention or how crazy and stuff he was. It was mostly men that held him back. He was a bit on the esoteric side, so definitely didn't mix well with certain science, or they didn't want certain information mixed with science back then. So he was not fully accepted by his peers, which were male. There were pictures of him with women I'm sure he had to be with. Yeah, when people write and say things, especially highly intelligent people like Tesla, they're going to speak in some type of code. Because if people ask you the same question over and over, or if they're in your business, or if they're not on the level that you are used to speaking with, you're going to say, I'm married to a pigeon. Figured it out. When you are on a certain level of intellect, it's like when people ask you a mundane question, it's almost an insult. And so you're going to give them an answer that's an insult. And if they're smart enough, they'll decode the insult and they'll have the answer. That's just my opinion. Anyway, or it's just a symbol of his purity, of how he wanted to create and do these things. And he was totally dedicated to his work. It's also, there's also multiple meanings, but that's just one of the meanings. the great thing about symbols is there are multiple meanings. So that's why I really like symbols and decoding and stuff. So when they say he was married to a pigeon, that's not necessarily what it means. If you read um, about him, he would go off for months and get drunk and, be with women and do all these things and then go back to his work, because that's what he was, this is how he would get inspired, and this is how he would be able to connect and get information, because of course women are the higher electromagnetic, you know, gender. They conduct it better. And so who knows what he was doing in those labs, and some freaky stuff I could imagine. Anyway, anyway, well, he kind of reminds me, because a lot of the stuff that he would create and invent, you could see in ancient Egypt, ancient Kemet. And so um, a lot of the stuff that he kind of studied and learned was definitely already from ancient Kemet. He just brought it to this, the century that he was in, and expounded upon it. And we already know in ancient Kemet, they really, worshipped the goddess, or, their highest deity was a goddess, a woman. So, a lot of things are based on the womb and certain shapes of organs and things like that in the body, and electricity. And they had, what they call the Baghdad bulb. And there was no traces of like any type of fuel burning or coal or like soot on the walls of certain buildings and pyramids in ancient Kemet. So they had to have some type of light that did not burn through fire. So they've already said that. So Nikola Tesla also reminds me a lot of Leonardo da Vinci, of course, one of my favorites as well. He was always putting codes and information in his drawings and his writings and his paintings. And a lot of people just see it as artwork, but some people know that there's hidden codes in there, and they will bid and buy when things go up for sale, his artwork, for millions and millions of dollars. But with the technology we have today, where you're able to use your phone or a computer to, turn and twist pictures and invert pictures and stuff like that, there's a whole nother world within these paintings. Like, of course, it's always the Last Supper that they would kind of focus on. The Last Supper is basically, if you split it down the middle, and I have this also on my Patreon, if y'all scroll back down. If you split it down the middle and cross it at a certain angle, all these people over here line up with these people over here. And they're the same people. On this side, yeah. And then the tablecloths, they line up at a certain angle too. So these are the same people. And then when you line these two up, Jesus is Mary. So they all become one, basically, when you fold it. So I think I had that on somewhere. I might upload it again. But there's one thing that Tesla also wrote about his eye, how he would see things in his imagination, but he would be able to see it right in front of his face, as if it was like there, like a hologram or something like that. And Tesla said that sometimes it wouldn't go away, but he could take things apart and put it together in that vision. And he could reverse it, turn it every type of which way. And then it brings me to this drawing of Leonardo da Vinci, how he drew how the human eye could see. He always wrote backwards in like mirror, because, that's a whole nother story. But he was showing you how the human eye can perceive and things like that. Thoughts create, thoughts is energy, and it creates like a field. And so if you are focused so much on what you're doing and your imagination, and you're thinking about something and you're already turned up, he had that electricity machine, Tesla. He turned himself up. And so his thoughts would, or he was struck by lightning too. So he said when he was a baby. So his thoughts were turned up. So when he was thinking, instead of just having thoughts as waves, they would turn into pictures, you know. Just like when wireless communication is sent, and then you get a picture in your inbox or a video or something like that. He was not able to have that type of technology. It was like right in front of his face, because he was electrically turned up and modified. So um, he also probably took what Da Vinci had come up with and expounded on that, which I see. I don't know if they had a lot of electricity back then. They used gears and shifts and stuff like that. And so Tesla took it to the next level with the electricity. And knowing all of this and having all this information at his fingertips, he could see how things would evolve eventually, and that's why he could make so many accurate predictions. And he was also very he was also very much a germaphobe, and he was very clean. So it would not make sense that his wife would be a pigeon, or that he would like to be around a bunch of filthy birds. So that goes to show you that it was code. Okay. Um, and if you're turned up, and when I say turned up, that means if you are on a higher level of consciousness and you are a germaphobe, but you see a symbol or a pigeon or a dove as a divine symbol, it's and that means purity, mother womb matrix, holy trinity, holy spirit, da, da, da. You're not going to associate a filthy bird with germs that represents something so pure. So it basically becomes a paradox with its germs. So this is how some people can be one way, but then not the same way when it comes to certain things, because of how it's symbolized to them in their mind and what it means to them. So this is another reason. Um, he did predict that most people in the future would probably go more vegetarian, and he didn't eat a lot either, because I think you don't conduct as much electricity if you eat heavy meals or a lot of meat and things like that. So he was stuck mostly to vegetables and little meat. And he did eat very little, because probably how he got his information. So he predicted a lot of things that are true today. And I've talked about this so many times in my older videos. Um, if you watch a lot of the if you watch a lot of the movies and cartoons and stuff like that, they're on like Netflix and whatever these days, it's always going to be like a lot of, you're going to see more women taking roles that are, instructional leadership, goddess type divine roles in these movies, because that's where it's headed. And they always say, yeah, the future is female. And I did that video on my other channel, and a lot of people think, oh well, great, we have the technology, and if we can control the information and the knowledge, and then we can control women. But that's not necessarily true, because as the creator, now this is just my opinion right here, as a mother, as a holder of a womb or a matrix within, there's only so much you can tweak before, the woman just starts getting charged. There's only a limit to be controlled. The woman just starts getting charged and using that energy to fuel herself and her own thoughts. So that's why you see a lot of like Wonder Woman movies, um, a decrease in certain population, like there's more women being born than men. Da, 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 da. And that's another thing because the wireless communication, the 5G, soon to be 6G, affects sperm count or testosterone. Um, and men are heavy meat eaters as well. A lot of men eat a lot of meat, and a lot of men tend to eat more than women. So their frequencies are lowered, and their reproduction rate may have been lowered, or the ability to, reproduce and create male offspring may have been lowered by some way. But I feel that either way, the more we walk towards technology, the more dominant women will probably become, according to what Tesla feels. Okay, so, and then when I say dominant, I mean like able to be dominant on an intellectual level of knowing certain things. Like, how they had the Oracle in the Matrix, and she knew stuff, but she, like, she spoke in riddles and things like that. And he was asking her later on if she was part of the program, and she's like, yeah. And then Neo, like, he'd always have to go to her to get information. There was always these pigeons and doves around. Like, she was in a park with some pigeons and doves. Um, and also a black cat is also another form of this, between worlds, between dimensions and things like that, the spirit world and the living world. So you're going to have a combination of pigeons, doves, cats, black cats. You see all of that in the Matrix. You see the womb. You see Trinity. She represents like the Holy Spirit, or she would represent like the dove. And then you have Morpheus, which is the god of dreams, which would be, images in your mind that are lifelike. And then you would have, so everything is kind of like telling the same story over and over. It's just like you have to be able to see it. A lot of people are literally walking around saying, oh, Tesla was smart, but he was weird. He married a pigeon. No, he was talking to y'all in code. But, sometimes it takes a little, research to see that. You said the lady on Home Alone? Yeah, like she was always covered in doves. And I think there was Home Alone, New York, right? She was always covered in doves, and she helped, was it Macaulay Culkin out and showed him, where he could sleep and stuff when he was out. And he remembered her on Christmas and gave her a turtle dove. Like, he kept the other one. That was nice. Um, but anyway, y'all, if y'all are too young to remember Home Alone, it's the one where he was in New York. So, yeah, doves are, like Prince has, like, when doves cry. Um, a lot of magicians use doves and pigeons in their magic show because of what they represent. The ability to warp reality or control reality or create illusion. So you're going to see a lot of magicians use doves or pigeons in their, little shows. So it's very deep, and it's not just a bird. It represents something totally, um, divine, feminine aspect. Um, do you have any questions? And I'm not putting down like men, or I'm not raising up women to a certain, but scientifically, the bodies are different. So energetically, the bodies are different. I mean, we can't do anything about that. So that's all I'm just giving the knowledge. I really could care less about who's this and who's that. We know scientifically everyone is physiologically different, and some people have advantages over others. That's just it. Period. Um, Even though we try to strive for equality in every aspect, it's just not what is at this time. So that's why scientists study the differences between different genders, between or different sex, between different races, between people of different weight. Da, 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 da. They study a lot, um, so they know you know who has the advantage over the other, who is able to be um, you know who's able to receive more information wirelessly than the next person, who's more healthy as they receive this, what diet do they eat, what region do they live in, where are they from, what is their genetic makeup. There's we're like a big experiment, or whether people know that or not. And you know are they able to see the difference between um, what's good for them and what's bad for them? Do they believe everything? Are they a follower or are they a leader? A lot of things are a lot of these things that we're seeing like in the news and you know pandemics and stuff. They're a lot of these are tests, purges, and experiments. So, what I can tell so far is that Tesla did believe in eugenics. So, if they have his information, they have all his notes, which they took. They have all his technology and patents and things like that. Who knows what the game really is? Um, and if y'all don't know what eugenics is, it just means that they are saying that some people should not have offspring due to their genetic makeup, due to their habits, or due to this, and that, that they shouldn't procreate because they will just produce useless people or people that are not going to be able to make it in the future or whatever. So he was definitely a believer in that. So he would probably, and I feel that the reason why he said that is because he knows what the future is going to hold. Like, you're not going to be able to make it if you are this and that, because of all the electricity in the air. There's no way you're going to survive. So this is what you got to do: A, B, C, and D. So it's not that it was not something that was like, oh, I'm prejudiced or racist. It's this is what you need to survive. I used to talk about 5G and the all that frequency and stuff, last year and the year before that. But this is what it all boils down to. You're going to have to be able to survive a certain frequency in order to even be able to have offspring and for them to be healthy and blah 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 blah, and to coordinate and be able to coexist with the technology that is coming. hmm So, back in the ancient days, in the old days, in the biblical days, or even in Shakespeare, certain kings in the Bible would always go to these witches or women to seek out familiar spirits, see the future, whatever, whatever, because they are highly electromagnetic and they can pick up on information. Psychic abilities are definitely more, and so they're able to pick up on things that men cannot. Um, it's not a big deal. Like, women get this, men get that. It's not like, and I think that's why another reason. Now, y'all know I don't really discriminate against anybody, but I think that's another reason why so many people want to have gender equality, or don't want to be, or they want to change their pronouns, or a lot of things are being like, well, and being androgynous and da 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 da. But that still does not change the makeup of the human body as far as how it conducts electricity. So it really never will matter cosmetically. Okay. It won't matter cosmetically. It would only matter, electromagnetically. Our organs are different. Our heart rates are different. Our vein and artery size are different. Our water content is different, so it's going to be different. Um, you said you sorry, but you are the superior gender. TBH. So, what is the correlation between psychics and their clients' fertility? Um, well, fertility, and like if someone's trying to have a baby and they go to a psychic to see if they're going to have a baby or whatever, sometimes, if whatever their ability is and what their talent is and how they're psychic may help, but at the same time, it's also your diet. How much water do you intake? Are you know, a lot of doctors do not factor in 5G because why would they? You got to factor in all of the surroundings, your diet, and all that kind of stuff with your fertility. So be your own doctor, baby. Do your own research. Doctors don't know everything, and if they did, they couldn't tell you anyway. So go from there. If I were trying to get pregnant and I couldn't, and I knew 5G was everywhere, I'd research on what type of crystals could absorb 5G energy, what could I wear, what the diet could I eat, A, B, C, and D. I would go from there. Mm-hmm. Um, you said I sound kind of low. It's not turned up. Okay. Well, I'm trying to talk as loud as I can. You said, okay, best way to get pregnant is to do everything naturally, literally. Hmm. Stay away from those towers. Yeah. But just do your own research. Don't rely on other people to tell you something. Do your own research. This is what I keep telling people so much because people act handicapped when it comes to knowledge. And I don't know why when they have it at their fingertips or can do their own research. Mhm. Mhm. So, if you really look at, okay, so let's go back in time. So let's remember the time. A lot, like, let's remember the time. Pyramids, the shape of a pyramid, what the pyramids were made out of, the desert surrounding the pyramids, the Nile River flowing upward. I mean, this is straight up science and electromagnetic frequency, energy, all working together so that they could have certain technology back then. What we have today is much more, it's not as pretty, but, dealing with wires, wireless, towers, and things like that, you're able to, um, send information even further. And so instead of having one little area in Kemet where they have this technology, it's global now. So they're able to use this technology global. Some places don't have it as much as the other place, but I'm sure in the next 50 to 100 years, they definitely probably will, unless they go back and refuse technology and start living more naturally. I mean, but who knows? Hmm. You said, did the ancients teach Tesla everything, or was it stolen and he acquired the information? It's not stolen, it's in books. Like you can read about how ancient Egyptians, did certain things, or if you have the eye, you can see it. You know what I mean? You can decode it with your own eye. You can like you he was turned up. He was turned up on electricity, which means his frequency was higher, which means he's going to have a higher consciousness and awareness than most people. And if he looks at a picture or a hieroglyph on a wall, and a picture on a wall in a pyramid, he's not going to see what an archaeologist sees. He's going to see a code. He's going to see instructions. He's going to see technology. So when you are looking at something, not everyone sees everything from the same consciousness level. They're seeing stuff. It's kind of like a kindergartner, a fifth grader, and then a college graduate all looking at a painting. They're going to see things totally different in that painting. The kid will just see colors. Oh, it's a man with a blue shirt on. The fifth grader will see what the person is doing and maybe the background, and the college student who may have studied art, literature, or philosophy may go deeper and see way more. Maybe even go into the mind of the artist themselves as to what they were thinking when they painted it. So you're going to be on a different level of consciousness when it comes to looking at certain things, especially if you have studied something for so long. If you constantly hooking yourself up to some type of oscillator and raising your frequency, like Tesla did, you're definitely going to see way more. So when they were just looking at mummies and writing on the wall, he was probably seeing technology and ways to advance society. So it was very different. So I wouldn't say it was stolen. I would just say it was decoded and interpreted on a higher level, from what it truly was. It would be like someone in the future finding a laptop and thinking it's a mirror with or someone in the future finding a microphone and thinking it's a statue, you know. But you know what I mean? So you gotta realize that people see things on a higher frequency sometimes, and they have just have a mind and an eye to see deeper and certain things. Since he was turned up, say he was struck by lightning, or there was a lightning storm when he was born, or something. I don't know. You've been saying this for years. They found these things and used it to their advantage, right? Do you think that the increase in the sun's radiation is to increase our consciousness? The earth is also increasing in temperature as well, and it's coming from the earth, not directly from the sun. So it's always going to be change. There's always going to be change. Um, mhm. So, and stuff that comes from the sun is not necessarily what heats the earth. I mean, it could be gamma rays that coming from a totally different side of the galaxy. So you don't know. One No, if you believe in that. Now see, consciousness is also based on what it is you choose to believe. Now that goes into the esoteric, which is why they did not like messing with Tesla in the science department, because he would go esoteric on them, which is why he was so genius and why he saw more than most people, because he went esoteric, which you can. People hate that when you try to cross it. They get mad because they can't be right. Which is why he said he was married to a pigeon. Because pi is a paradox, it's unsolvable. Um, Geon, Godhead, feminine energy, Holy Spirit, Trinity, Mother Matrix, is an insolvable paradox. So when you bring the esoteric into it, you're you're going to find a way to be right. And if you don't, you're going to create a way to be right that will make sense. So that's why I didn't like him too much. And because he could always create what he wanted and prove himself correct. And since they did not use esoteric and metaphysics back then in science, then a lot of his, you know, work was not really commended as it should have been. Pi is basically a number that keeps going but never repeats itself. It's not repetitive. It's a number that keeps going, never ends, but never repetitive. So it's like, um, just look it up. It's also how you get the circumference to a circle. Just like a circle, you don't know where it ends or begins. Okay, what point of the circle, where do you start from? How do you know that's where the start is? You know. And you can't repeat something if you're existing within time, which is the aeon. So if you go around a circle with a pin, it's never ending and you're never repeating. There's nothing repetitive because of time, the aeon. So the pi, the G, which is the Godhead matrix, and then the aeon, which is the infinite amount of, long period of time. So you're going to have a circle that repeats itself, but time is linear. Well, it's not linear. Time is not linear. So as time moves on, it may not be repetitive. It may be similar, but it's never going to be exactly the same. You know how they say there's no new thing under the sun, and they had that centuries ago. It's the same thing, but reinvented. Like just like Tesla could look at ancient Kemet and see how they had wireless electricity or energy and create it today, back then. So, the circle of life, I guess. hmm You said the sun's frequency of emitting heat and light literally impacts the. Yeah, it does, but Earth also has a center that also emits heat as well. And the Earth also has its own electromagnetic frequency. And also, you have to remember that the sun could stay the exact same, but the people's energy could increase, which would then increase the Earth's energy. So it's not always about the sun. Sometimes it's about the people that are there. Like, just think about Tesla. He hooked himself up to a machine or some type of electric isolator or whatever, plasma thing, and he got turned up. His frequency was higher. He probably emitted more heat than the average person because he kept hooking himself up to the electric thing. Now we're going to put wireless stuff in the air. Our temperatures are going to rise. Our body temperatures are going to change. Our poles are going to shift. The center of the Earth was just made of mostly iron, is going to start to melt, and the poles are start to melt, and the Earth is going to start to tilt its axis from being heated from within electrically. Has nothing to do with the sun. Has to do with technology, which is why they're trying to give people free solar panels to use less electric transmissions through the air to give you light. So it's trying to create a healthy combination, but not both. They're basically throwing solar panels at you. Take this free. It's like, no, that look ugly on my house. Where can y'all build it into the house? Start building it into the house. Y'all want to give it to us. Make it. Explain the G on. No, take the G off, and G is separate. G would be the Godhead, the seventh letter, the matrix. Um, I break it down in my Patreon if y'all want to see it. I type it out and put pictures and all that kind of stuff. But G is basically separate from pi and eon. So you have a pi, G, eon, pigeon. An unsolvable Godhead, G7. Also, the word pigeon itself represents a pigeon or a dove, which is also Holy Trinity, sacredness, purity, feminine energy. And then the eon, which is the indefinite long period of time. So infinity, forever. So you have the pi, G, aeon. Multiple meanings. Mm-hmm. Do you think you come from the Anunnaki? You look similar to. You know where I came from? My mama's womb, baby. Sprinkle, sprinkle. My mama and my daddy made a baby, and here I am. Where they came from, unless I got some relatives in high places that can, hook me up, I don't care. Look, why do I need to know? I'm not claiming them if they ain't claiming me. Sprinkle, sprinkle. They need to be trying to claim me over here. Okay. Oh, that's my descendant. Sorry. Must be some of those traits. Okay, that must be some of those traits. Gotta, it kind of reminds you of the story of like the fallen angels or whatever, and they come to Earth, but they still feel superior and divine compared to the regular humans. But they also had offspring and da da da. And they said those offspring became giants and were eating the children. And y'all know that's metaphor. So giants in frequency, giant frequencies, giant auras, giant halos. I can see your halo. Okay. Giant electromagnetic field to pick up on knowledge that most people don't. So if that's what that means, maybe. And everybody trying to get skinny and put silicone inside of them and da, da, da. But fat holds more water. Okay. So, and my frequency will stay high. I'm not finna go sit in I'm not finna go get surgery to suck out what I need. No, there's a reason why women develop a certain body after they get older and have children and become more mature. The body of the goddess figure is so ancient and old. It's for a reason. And if y'all can't figure that out, then that's y'all fault. Okay. So no, I'm gonna keep exactly the body that I created through the lifestyle choices that I created and made because it is beneficial to me. Do I believe that there are reasons for infertility? Like genetically, did you take a lot of medication as a baby or as a child? Did you have a certain illness? A lot of those things can add up to infertility. You just have to go figure it out. This is why, like, was it in your vaccine? Did your mom give you vaccines? What type of vaccines did you get? Was it the free vaccines that the government give out, or did you get vaccines in a nice area? I mean, it all. I know I'm not supposed to talk about that, but it kind of all depends on how your body reacted to certain medications and da 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 da, and your environment as well, and plus the diet you ate. So it's a combination of all those things. It could be your diet, it could be where you live, it could be the frequency in the area you live, it could be anything you've gotten, medically done to you since birth. It could be a combination of all those things. So I really, it's too hard to pinpoint, but I would definitely try to become a higher frequency as much as I would try to raise my frequency as high as I could and see what happened. Hmm. Please talk about Facebook being down yesterday. I didn't know because I wasn't on Facebook yesterday, but for 2 seconds. Um, I don't care about that stuff anymore. Like it was down and now it's back up. So now if it stay down for a week, then we can talk. That would be something. But like it wasn't down long enough for me to notice. So I don't know. Also, I created on this channel where you could definitely become members of this channel where you would like get your little name highlighted. You would have special emojis, and your comment would be like prioritized in the comments. So it's just a way of donating monthly if you just want to be nice or just be a member. That is available. There's a join button on my YouTube channel page. And also there's a link on my community section of my channel. So if y'all want to become members, or y'all can become a member of my Patreon. And like I said, y'all can see how I break everything down and typed out and add pictures and all that good stuff. There's PDF books and stuff in there to read as well, with knowledge. So it's pretty good. A part of you wanted Facebook to stay down a little longer. I don't know. Like, I didn't notice it at all because I was too busy. I was probably on here on my other channel and didn't even notice. Hmm. And a lot of people do stuff to instill fear. Now y'all have to listen because y'all already starting them comments. Fear, to instill fear, you only have to trigger people by doing something minute, like Facebook going down for a few hours. Then they're going to start to say, well, what else? What else? What else? What else? And then that's going to create the frequency fear, the fear of frequency, which is going to lower your frequency, which is going to allow you to get less of what you need, less information, allow you to be able to create less, and also it's going to also allow other people to impact your thinking and the direction of your thinking and to be able to alter your thinking, you know, with technology. So I'm not getting ready to sit up here and worry about that. Look. So keep your mind where you want it to be. Keep your thoughts where you want them to go. That's another thing. Um, Now, these frequencies in the wireless, whatever in the air, can also be transmuted. This is the law. You get a thought in your mind, you can transmute that thought and create it into what you want and send it out to carry on. Okay. This is why they did not like the esoteric stuff when Tesla was talking about his the future of wireless. Because then what? If somebody send out an order or a signal via wireless to somebody's, body or head, if they're not aware of certain things, if their frequency is not on a higher level, they may not be able to transmute what it is, or take a moment to think about if this is their thought, or a suggested thought. You know how they have suggested videos, suggested products. Well, they got suggestive thoughts too. So maybe you just need to take a second to think, is this me? Is this my thought? Is this what I really want? No. That's not me, and that's not what I really want. Not right now, not today anyway. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow. You'll change your mind. Maybe she won't. Maybe. Mhm. Okay, so anyway, y'all know, get distracted. Mhm, mhm. So, just gonna show y'all something funny. Mhm. The pigeon, the dove. Yeah, it's very symbolic. So, whatever. Mm. You said your mind controls your frequency. Anything else just tricks you into it, in my opinion. That's true. But also, your mind controls it, but the how you receive a frequency and what type of frequency you can receive also depends on your physiological body when it is receiving it. So, how well can you conduct electricity? How, what's your heart rate? What is your, frequency? What is your toric frequency? Are you able to pick up on certain things? Is your diet high enough to keep a frequency high enough to receive higher information? So it has to do with a lot of that stuff. But I mean, think about this. I'm not trying to be mean or, rude, but certain people pick up on certain things faster than others. Just how it is, due to their ability to receive those messages or information due to their electromagnetic frequency. That's it. Um, and which is bringing me to yeah, my elixirs that have a lot of these um conductors that do increase your frequency in them. So, as your blood flows through your body and creating that toric field, your energy and your frequency is going to be increased because of the minerals in it, the natural um, conductors of electricity. And also, I'm coming out with a new one very, very soon that I'm going to introduce to you guys, which is also going to be very important. So I'll let you guys know when that is available very soon. And I'm going to talk about it in a future video. But when you take those elixirs, you're also increasing your frequency due to them, you know, broadening your frequency. hmm When I'm on this channel, I'm mostly speaking of things to do with like spirituality, esoteric, metaphysics, decoding, magic and stuff like that. I'm not a medical doctor, so I can't answer questions that a medical doctor is trained to answer. You know what I'm saying? So I have no idea about fertility and all that kind of stuff. All I know is what I would do. That's all I know. Um, I would do trial and error on myself until either I gave up or something worked. Or maybe I just get some pets and call it a day. I don't know. Or adopt. Um, You said you have to raise your frequencies. The radiation is making you addicted to lower vibrational energies without realizing it. True. Do I believe that infertility is solvable if you raise your frequency? I feel that anything is solvable if you. I believe not anything is solvable because pie is not solvable unless you are pie, a pigeon. There's so much that goes into that. I could make a whole video on that. It just feels like, too many variations and combinations of things could cause it. That therefore the same amount or maybe less or more you would have to try, to solve it. The infertility. Like it could be something from way back in your childhood that you can't fix. You know, some people some people's parents put them on medication in elementary school because somebody told them that they got ADHD or some crap, and now they can't have kids. So before you stick your kids on medication, think about the long term effects. Um, someone made I don't know. Just all I'm saying is it could be something from way back then. That's all I know. I don't know. I can't tell you. But be careful what you put into your children's bodies because it will affect their future. On your next video, you speak on how to manifest through pain, whether physical or emotional. Use that pain. Shoot. Go listen to some music, some blues, some some old spirituals. Feel the pain. They used it to create music. Create with it. Some people write poetry with it. Some people rap. Some people, I don't know, sculpt. Turn it into creation. Um, write. People write whole stories and things like that. Mm-hmm. So make sure, to me, a lot of these things can also be, triggered in your memory, or thoughts can be triggered, or things like that to create pain or emotion and things like that. But if you really think about what pi is, it's an ongoing number. It doesn't pause for emotion. It doesn't pause for pain. It keeps going. And how you spend your time and what you spend it on and what you're thinking about or doing and what you allow to lead you or to govern you your thoughts is what is going to allow you to work through it or not. So my best answer for that is, what do you look up to? What is your inspiration? What do you want to do? What have you always done? Why are you so focused on certain things? Why are you focused on pain and emotion? Why aren't you focused on what you want to do instead? Is that a planted thought? Are you stuck there for a reason? Do you need to raise your frequency, or do you need to change your frequency? And you may not need to raise it, you just might need to change it to a different frequency. It may not have to be higher, it could be higher or lower. You might need to change it to get to the next thought that you need to have, instead of continuously thinking about the same thing over and over. You're going to think about it, but you're going to be thinking about it at a time where you should be doing something else. So my best thing is to do something else, start creating more, focus on something new and different always. And if someone wants to keep you know, putting a thought in your mind, or if you keep thinking about something and you're doing that yourself, then just know that that's not natural. You know, understand that that's not natural, and it's probably something that you can actually avoid by changing up your frequency, changing your diet, maybe changing your water intake, or maybe carrying a crystal or a stone or something like that, or blah 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 blah. Whatever it is, you can change it. So change it. That was my stuff. Okay. Um, a lot of people, they'll have dreams that aren't really even their dreams. I mean, if you can have a streaming network, you could have a streaming dream work. I know when my dreams are my dreams and when they're not my dreams. So, a lot of the stuff that's going through the air, 5G wise, it's not, it may go into your mind at night. You may have a dream that wasn't even your dream. So, a lot of people are probably experiencing that as well. And it could also be one of the reasons why Tesla might have lived in a hotel, on a high floor, because like if you're going to stream wireless information to and from, it may not be on, it might back then it may have been on a lower level, um, or it may be like more so on the level where most people live, you know. So who knows? Am I still stuck? Did they stop my video? Oh my goodness. Guess I better stop. Let's see. As usual. Am I still here? Yeah. My goodness. Okay, well, dang, what is that? Am I still here? Let me check my phone. Oh, I'm back. Okay. Sometimes it freezes on videos like this, not on the stupid videos that are like I'm not talking about anything. Mm-hmm. Not on the haul videos and let's get ready for fall videos and whatever. Anyway, so I'll get out my dry erase board just in case y'all one person might came in late, or 10 people that came in late. Sorry about my ugly handwriting. I'm not used to writing with this type of marker. So here's what pigeon really means. Pi, which is an unsolvable, um, which means also like an ongoing number, but never repetitive. So it keeps going, but never it becomes repetitive. And then we have G, which is seventh letter, Godhead, Holy Spirit, Matrix, Womb, Osiris's crown, whatever, some ancient Egyptian stuff, And then Eon, which is an indefinite long period of time. So we have an unsolvable, ongoing, unrepetitive Godhead matrix, indefinite long period of time, as his wife, which would represent, now when you're married mentally, it's like your brain. So you have right brain and left brain. This would be like the sacred marriage, right? And so if you're married to a Pigeon, you're married to the matrix, indefinitely, eternally, to the unsolvable, unrepetitive. That's like the universe, the dark feminine energy, the matrix womb. So his wife, because was the universe, dark matrix womb, because he was said to be celibate, but that's um, that was only said. I don't know if he admitted that, but his marriage was more of a marriage as far as how he thought, how his frequency was. And pigeon or dove or pigeon also represents sacredness, Holy Spirit. It also represents the Trinity or the Triad in some type of way. And it also represents purity, and also represents feminine energy, peace, blah, 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 blah. Mike Tyson had pigeons. Um, Pigeons and doves are the same. So we have, when doves cry. This is like a lot of stuff revolves around, certain names or words that have more than one type of meaning. So a pigeon could represent something symbolically, spiritually, and then if you break the word down to pi g eon, then it means something totally different, but still sort of the same. You know, on a higher frequency, it means something else. Um, it's also code if you don't want to say, "Oh, I'm married to the divine mother matrix universe, unsolvable, infinite, beyond time and eons." I mean, if he had said that, people thought he was more crazy. So he just said a pigeon. Right? Well, how come you never married? I'm married to the universe, divine mother matrix, uh, Godhead, indefinite long period of time. I'm married to an insolvable problem that can never ever be solved. Like Kanye, he's amazing. Kanye said he's a problem that will never ever be solved. He's amazing. So amazing. It's amazing. Pie. So anyway, and his voice was very auto-tuned. Technology. Okay. That's why he married Kim. Because he represents that energy. um that dark feminine energy. Anyway. Mm, you said people sacrifice pigeons too? Mm. You said he always say get a piece of American pie. Well, everything has more than one meaning. So, there's a mundane meaning. And you have like, the symbolic meaning. Then you have the spiritual meaning. Then you have the numeric or numerological meaning. Then you have the esoteric meaning. You're gonna have to keep getting the meanings of things to see the big picture. That's why I do my Patreon, because a lot of people only see tree. Oh, that means wisdom and knowledge. But what kind of tree is it? Blah blah blah. How's it spelled? Keep going. Um, he said pigeons dying because the Earth's environment is not habitable enough. We are all killing the Earth. The pigeons are dying. Oh my gosh. Um, as much as they breed, I was as much as they breed, they die. I don't know. They being born at the same time. I don't know. I mean, I didn't do that research, but if you say, I'll look into it. But it's just they're dying, but they're also being hatched at the same time. I mean, people raise pigeons, release them at weddings and doves and stuff too. Maybe they're not living in certain areas anymore or reproducing as much because of the frequency, the 5G and stuff. So I don't know. Have you heard of the primal craft with Hecate and Lucifer, path of soul ascension to godhood? No, but I seen Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and they be talking about the same thing. Um, there's different ways to say stuff, and that's one of the ways. Hecate is like the mother matrix. I mean, the goddess of women, mother, maiden, and crone aspect. Then you have Lucifer, which is the light, which is the knowledge from higher frequencies, and you merge them together, and what you got? The divine um, feminine, dark energy, not dark energy, the divine dark feminine, depending on your perspective and your agenda or whatever. A lot of people make stuff sound scary, but it ain't. It's really just, you know, or they make it sound mysterious, but it's all the same thing. The new word for pigeon is chicken head. There used to be a song called Chicken Head. Y'all know that. Um, you read that Pisceans give bad advice and only help themselves. Is that true? Sure, it's true. Don't ever listen to a Pisces, because break down what Pisces is. A pie who sees. Okay. Erica Badu is a Pisces. Rihanna's a Pisces. Don't take advice from none of them. They don't know what they're doing. Oh my goodness. Einstein was a Pisces. Don't listen to him. Who else? Um, don't listen to no Pisces. They don't know what they're talking about. Just I say listen to people, make your own educated thought, and then go with that. You know what I mean? Listen. If you like it, take it. If you don't, leave it. Then that's you creating your own form of information by whatever the person said. Mhm. Since you work with dark energy, have you been across the abyss to the city of the pyramid? I've been everywhere. So what the heck? Sprinkle, sprinkle. Remember, Pi, I'm a Pisces. I'm an ongoing, unsolvable. Okay, and I see. And I sees. So, and also, you have you seen the symbol for Pisces? Well, it's like two fish swimming. Oh wait, this is going to be like the little child drawing version of it. Hold on, I'm trying to make it look good. Some looks like some goldfish snacks up in here. I don't know, child. Look. Okay, here we go. So the Pisces swim in a circle, and they're two, just like pi. Like there's two answers, but they're both the same. They're both ongoing and non-repetitive. So like a pi, then you have so that's why our symbol is a fish going in a circle, and then we sees and we be seeing. We most psychic sign of the zodiac. You say yin yang. Yin yang in this thing. So yeah, you said Scorpio. There's a pie in Scorpio. Got a pie somewhere? Pisces. You gotta break down your own sign, see what happens. How to stop feeling lonely? Read a book. That's what hermits do. I was reading this book the other day, or maybe it was an article online, and in the Victorian era, rich people used to hire garden hermits to walk around their garden with like a book and raggedy clothes and not talk to anyone. But yeah, the hermit is like, the tarot card hermit archetype has a lantern and he's seeking knowledge. He ain't got time to worry about if he's lonely or not. If you start to feel lonely, read a book. Best thing I can tell you. You said get a cat, read a book, call somebody, go out. But if you're unable to get out, read a book. How do you handle knowing so much? How do you not lose your mind? Because I can switch it up real quick. I can go from thinking like this to thinking like something else, to talking about makeup. Level Up Cosmetics, you guys, get your palette. We have Spellbook and we have Witches. And this is the eyeshadow palette that I have on today. And it looks like a little book, and this is 24 karat gold embossed. So you're going to get that too. We have Witches, which are a lot of different colors. And yes, this is just a fun palette to play with and also give you a pop of color. I also have on the lipstick and love potion today. And y'all can get that on levelupcosmetics.us, along with these lashes and this liner. Sprinkle, sprinkle, that's how. I balance it out. I mean, if you think about the ancient deities back in the old days, they all balanced it out too. Like, oh, you were the goddess of this and that, and also these are the powers that you held, and this was your, planet, and that they had different things about themselves that could either be mundane or very esoteric. So you gotta use it like that. Like, you like the witch palette? It's amazing. Yeah. I love the colors in that palette because they're so vibrant. You said for kissable lips, get a love potion. Yes, and y'all can use my 10% discount. Save 10. That's all you have to type in. And no problem. Love feelings are temporary. Just change your mindset. Oh, y'all talking to each other. I like y'all keep asking me about different signs. I'm not an expert on signs, like zodiac signs. I'm not an expert on that. I tend to know more about my sign and the sign that I have the most contact with, or the signs that I have the most contact with. So if you ask me about any other sign that I don't have a lot of contact with, I'm really not gonna know. I only research things that I need to know. You know what I'm saying? So if I don't have a lot of contact with something or someone, like if I don't have a lot of contact with a zodiac sign, I'm not gonna bother reading about them. For what? Now, if I meet one and I, say, okay, well, maybe they're worth reading about, maybe then I'll read about it. But like, if it's like, don't need to know everyone's or every zodiac sign if you don't deal with them. Like a need to know basis, right? But if there's anyone in here that can answer some of the questions, feel free to put them in the comments. I don't care. I just won't be able to tell you. Am I able to read people's mind if you listen on the frequency of their voice, making sure I'm not crazy? It just depends. Um, and I won't say I want to even read people's minds because I don't care enough. Like that's another thing about Pisces. Like we don't care. We ain't trying to read your mind on purpose. We got stuff to do. But if I'm sitting there talking with someone and they have a certain tone or a certain look, or they say a word a certain way, it may sound louder to me about, or I might just pick up on it emotionally or whatever. And I might see that there's something deeper going on than what they're saying or doing. But I'm not really trying to read people's minds because I really don't care enough. You know what I mean? So that's one thing about I don't know if it's all Pisces or just me. But, so a lot of people are nosy. They want to get into people's business. They want to do this. I just don't care enough. Like, I have other stuff to do. I got stuff to read, stuff to learn, makeup to put on. I got too many other things to do. So I don't go into like trying to read people so much unless I'm studying something and maybe an example of what I'm studying or reading about someone has already done. And then I may just use their example. But other than that, I don't care for reading people's minds because I don't care what's in it. Sadly, but if I cared, if there was something that I cared about and wanted to find out, maybe, but that has not happened. you know, um, for me to try to read people's mind, I don't care enough. Whatever. Um, but I'm sure if I tried, I would probably be able to do so. But what I do with the information, what am I gonna do with the information? Like, I don't care. Mhm. If everyone is connected to a goddess and talk to the person, can you hear the conversation between them? Um, it's more like you know what's going on sometimes, but you don't care enough to tap in. It's like that, you know. If you it's just a different personality. So if you're a nosy person that's always asking a bunch of questions and trying to get information and stuff, you would probably be able to tap in because that's what you were focused on trying to do. But if you don't care enough and you're trying to focus on yourself and do your own thing, you might see signs and symbols and you see certain things or a thought might pop into your head and you may have that like a little vision or whatever of a conversation and stuff, but you'll quickly like dismiss it because you don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care about that. I'm trying to focus on that. So it's almost as if you wanted it, it's there. But if you don't want it, you can quickly dismiss it. It's like, I don't care enough. Dismissed. You said I can hear the words. Maybe I shouldn't be telling all this. I do it at least twice a month. Haha, you're so funny. That's sass. Look. People's opinions of me is none of my business, right? And I could care less what they think of me because I already know what I think of me, and that's enough. What they think don't matter. It's only what I think of me that matters. They may like you said, they may have an opinion, but that doesn't change how I feel about myself. So it don't matter. And if it did, then though that person would have to be very special or meaningful in my life some sort of way for me even to consider valuing their opinion. So that's what it is. Um, it's almost like, and I think this is a lot of, especially to women who are made to feel insecure a lot about certain things. You have to look at people's opinions as being in line. Get in line, okay? Get in line because everybody got an opinion. Get in line. And according to your priority in my life and your purpose in my life, that's how much I'm going to value your opinion. So, oh wait, you don't have a purpose in my life? You don't add no benefits? Okay, then don't tell me your opinion. It doesn't matter. So that's what it is. That's how it's like. And y'all remember back in the old days, they used to send back. I'm trying to get back on the topic. Y'all remember back in the old days, they used to send messenger pigeons to deliver messages to people, like frequencies or the mail or email or DMs or text messages. It was the old school text. You had one building here and one building here, and you want to send a message to that building, you stick a piece of paper in this, roll it up in a little tube, put it in a pigeon's collar or whatever, and the pigeon would fly over there and land, and the person would take out the message and read it. Wow, wireless communication. The first form, okay? So when Tesla said he was married to a pigeon, he was, a Pigeon. Good. Makes sense. A Pigeon, I should say. In Prince's song, When Doves Cry, it was like a balance between his daddy and his mama. He was saying, maybe I'm just too demanding. Maybe I'm just like my father, too bold. Maybe I'm just like my mother. She's never satisfied. An unsolvable paradox. This is what it sounds like when the dove cries. Like when the cry is a frequency. This is what the dove frequency or the pigeon frequency sounds like. It's unsolvable. It's the Trinity. It's the Godhead. It's the divine energy. It's the ongoing, long, infinite. So whatever. Mhm. Mhm. The pigeons knew they role. So why do you think he couldn't say as a bachelor in the public eye? Why do you think he couldn't stay as a bachelor in the public eye? Oh, why do you think he couldn't just stay as a bachelor? Because he wanted to. Because when you tell somebody who you're married to mentally, it's almost as if, like, it's like saying, "Don't mess with me." Like you don't want to mess with this. You don't want to get up. You don't want to get with this because I'm married to some very ancient energy that you can never ever understand. Um, welcome. You really love me. Oh, Sprinkle Sprinkle Riv, you are a new member. Thank you, Riv Jones. Sprinkle Sprinkle girl, appreciate that. Yay. So it's almost a way of saying, stay out my business, none of your business. I'm married to the infinite, all-knowing matrix, unsolvable thing that you will never understand on the level that I do. I'm married to that. Like when you're married to that, it means like you're on a different level. You're you know what I'm saying? So he was trying to tell people, I'm married to a pigeon, a pi G eon. And those who knew what he was talking about knew, and those who didn't thought he was married to a bird. Okay. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Mhm. And then, like, if you really break it down, like I said, first wireless communication was a pigeon. Well, in that century, anyway. The fastest wireless communication probably was a pigeon. Um, the messenger pigeon. That's why we have Twitter and why we have like email and like those are more advanced forms. The DM. You said birds are two-dimensional. I call the gods messenger. Ah, but doves are three-dimensional. Mm-hmm. I'll show you. Well, that's actually in one of the descriptions of a dove. That is three-dimensional. And why would you put that? That's kind of strange, right? Like, why would you say that a dove was three-dimensional or a pigeon was three-dimensional? Like, duh. Like, why does that need to be in there? So let me see where it says it. Nope. I don't know if I took, maybe it's on my Patreon. I probably have it on my Patreon. But it did say that a dove was a three-dimensional animal or bird or whatever. It's weird. Okay. Just look it up. You'll find it. Maybe because pigeon is code for something or dove is code for something else. So. And remember I said it was code for the triad or the Trinity or the Holy Spirit or the matrix. So maybe that's why they said it was three-dimensional. Mm-hmm. How do you become a member? You just go to the channel page of my YouTube and there's a join button there. Now, I don't know if you could see it on your phone, but maybe on a laptop or if someone had joined through the phone, I'll go to my community section. It's a link there as well. The first post on my community section should be there. Or the one that I just did, the most recent. That's how you know they've been coding, because they throw in random facts, right? Birds are two-dimensional. I never know a bird was two-dimensional. I mean, it depends on what kind of bird, like that's why they have specific names, because their names have code in it. Like why didn't they name it a pigeon? Why did they name it a pigeon? Why didn't they name it something else? Why, you know, you just have to think about stuff like that. You said pigeons are spies. The first drones. And then Tesla said when his pigeon died, or came to visit him, and there was a light in the pigeon's eye that was like no other light he had ever seen before. When, you know, like he's not talking about no bird. But words, remember, words are spells. Words have meaning. Words have esoteric meaning. Words can be broken down to send out different messages. So, of course, the species and name of any type of animal, bird, object, or whatever is going to have another meaning. So that's why I said, that's why it's not pigeon, but it's pigeon, or Pigeon. He said it reminded him of his mother. He always talked about his mom. He wrote his mom letters all the time, and blah, 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 blah. Like he's close to his mother. The mother matrix. He said that pigeon brought him some knowledge. In a way, people keep calling me, and like, it's probably just like telemarketers and stuff. I don't answer that. Haters will call it the devil. Pigeons were involved in sending information about French-British War. Yeah, I mean they've been using pigeons for a while. They release them at weddings as well. Well, doves anyway. It's the same species though. Uh-oh, chick chat, sprinkle, sprinkle, girl. Welcome to Sprinkle, Sprinkle Me. Oh, welcome. Sprinkle, sprinkle. This is welcome. Child, I don't answer unknown numbers. I don't. I'm not that lonely. Come on now. I ain't that lonely. Anyway. So, and y'all have to know one more thing. And I know y'all know this. A lot of people, especially scientists or professionals who write books and talk about stuff like this, a lot of times whatever they're talking about may not really be what they're talking about. It may be just a bunch of code. Like, oh, I want to decide to talk about cosmology today. I don't care about cosmology. I live on Earth. But is there a hidden message in there? Is there something that you're trying to convey? Is there something that you're trying to prevent? Is there a frequency that you're trying to increase? Are you using this as a defensive mode against someone who is trying to say some other things? It's sometimes when people are talking about a certain subject, it's not even really about that subject. That's why a lot of times in science, things are known as theory instead of fact. Because you can always change a theory, or a theory can always be proven wrong, or a new theory could arise, because just in case you need to create one in order to combat another form of, someone using code language or code word that's not favorable to a group of people or yourself or an industry or whatnot. that's how they kind of talk back and forth, you know, about certain things, and they'll put it in science and um, politics or whatever they're going to put it in. That's what they put it in. So there's always double hidden meaning behind everything. It's the occult meaning behind everything. You just if you're looking for it and you have the eye and the ability to decode it, you'll see it. But if you don't care enough, then you'll bypass it. Like, I don't care about that. Stupid. But if you ever wanted to look deeper, it's the same thing. You just look deeper. The birds in the cartoon deliver messages and babies. Oh yeah. Yeah, so like it doesn't matter. Like it just it's there if you want it, or you can just ignore it. It depends on how you're um, looking into things that day. Um, and sometimes it's like, it's a wake up call as well. Like you can tell that sometimes when you're speaking or when other people are speaking, it's there. You could tell it's straight up code. And then sometimes you can tell they're speaking, their passion or what they really feel and believe. But sometimes you can tell it what they're really trying to push is the code, or the next time they're speaking about something, you can tell, oh, they're really into that topic or subject, and it's not really code today. They're really researching and doing and connecting dots that may lead to code later, but right now they're really in their purpose. So you can see that when certain people speak. You said that's why they say English is a bastard language. You ain't got no daddy. Um, maybe because it's like spell work. Like, oh, that's what I tell. Like when you're learning how to spell and you're trying to spell something with silent letters in the English language, you're like, why is that there? It doesn't need to be there. It's there for code, baby. It's there for code or frequency or whatever. Mhm. I want to help spread the translation for others. I want to lead this planet with a path to the yellow brick road. Oh my goodness. You trying to get the Oz? Mhm. Girl, just click your heel 3 times. Sprinkle, sprinkle. What about people or bosses who criticize a lot? Don't have a boss. Be your own boss. People who criticize a lot need to get in line with the rest of them in order of their importance and significance in your life and how much they benefit you. Like I said, that's what they would be like for me. I'm sorry. That's how I got to put you. If you have something to say, get in line in order of your significance and benefit. If you at the end of the line, I don't need to know what you're talking about. That's how I deal with it. So that's how you need to deal with it. I could care less, child. I could care less. Get that attitude, and you'll never worry about what people think again. Um, your husband was born on the day and year the Wizard of Oz. Cool. I don't even know that date, but that's cool. Mhm. Are criticisms curses if you care about what they said? Like for me, it could be comedy. It could be whatever, get in line. It could be just their opinion. Is someone's opinion a curse? It's how you take it. I don't take it. So it's not it's wasted breath, basically, or an opinion. Mhm. So it just depends on how you receive it or if you receive it. It's like if you don't receive it, then it's nothing. Somebody's opinion of you, their problem, their thought, their worry. Mhm. A lot of people always ask me if they're cursed. Do you want to be? Then you are. If you don't, then you ain't. Simple as that. Sometimes problems are solved in a very simple way, and sometimes you have to decode and really dissect something in order to see, you know, the intricate parts of it. But sometimes stuff is solved super easy. Like get in line in order of your importance, who cares? Oh, it's a curse. Is someone's opinion of you a curse? If you want it to be, if you care what they think. So that's why it's a choice. Why do some spirits choose to create and feed off negative energy? Because that's what they like, obviously. Like, there's an attraction. Everything has an attraction to something. Maybe that's what it's attracted to. Um, if you're attracted to something, why would you go to something that you're not attracted to? You know, if you're very attracted to something, you're going to go in that direction. You're like, I want to go there because I really like that, or I'm very attracted to that right now. If you don't, even if you're not attracted to something, you're not going to go to it. So then it's not going to matter. Hmm. People care too much about what other person thinks of them. Stop. That's true. Sure. Oh, sprinkle, sprinkle. Should we call on if that's what you want? Like, there's different words, deities, um, what do you call it? Archetypes. It's of several things that mean the exact same thing. If that's how you know it, and that's what you're familiar with, and that's what makes sense to you, then by all means, do what you want. If some people do it through science, some people do it through Orisha, some people do it through psychology, some people do it through decoding, you know, um, words or whatnot, etymology. Some people do it in so many different ways. Whatever way you can get it, that's how you get it. That's why they have so many different ways, so that it's easy to understand on most levels of consciousness. And that way you can check off as your consciousness expands, you can say, well, this means that, and that means the same thing as this, that means the same thing as this. It's just in different languages or different subjects or different uses of this word. So it's the same thing. It's just how you know it, what you're most familiar with. Use it. I could care less. I just don't see the point because I don't criticize, right? They want to make everyone the same, but why? Then it'd be boring. You just want to trust, you're loyal, so you want to attract that frequency. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Well, loyal is a choice that you make every second that you have a choice to be loyal. So when you say you want a loyal frequency, that's kind of strange because that's like saying you want a yes frequency for a person to say yes every time you ask them a question. So people have their own thoughts on their own mind and own um, ability to make choices. So if they are loyal for this long, it could be 1 second that they choose not to be loyal in a split second. So there is no frequency of loyalty. There's a frequency of how that person is vibrating at this particular time. That's why the Pigeon or the Pigeon is a unsolvable, um, ongoing, non-repetitive um, Godhead frequency that is over an indefinite long period of time. which means pigeon, which means a frequency that is ever changing, non repetitive over a long period of time that you cannot pin down and give it an answer or a label because it is ongoing but never repetitive. So it is a paradox. Exactly. So don't look for something that does not exist. You can't find a frequency that's going to be the same forever. It's always going to change. Um, Instead, look for someone that makes good decisions. That would be good. Thinks things through all the way. Da, 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 da. But sometimes still that's not enough. People are just maybe depending on how they feel emotionally at the time. So, their frequency depends on your frequency or the frequency of people around them or the frequency that they're, you know, vibrating with at that time. Did they drink something? Did they eat something? Are they on medication? Or someone else influencing them? So it's very different. Um, so don't get too attached to looking for some type of frequency. Just be more vibrate. Maybe someone that makes good decisions majority of the time. I think this is where a lot of people mess up in law of attraction and manifesting stuff because they don't really get down to that aspect of things. Like, but people change in a split second. People make rash decisions. People are influenced by other people. People can be altered by medications or drugs or alcohol. You're not going to find that. So we have to think on that level. We got to get as particular as we can without being too specific. We got to get to that pie. You said everything is a lie and the truth at the same time. That's the beauty of it. That's why you can't look for one or the other. You just look for whatever you want at that moment. You know how they say, live in the moment, because that's what you have. So, yeah, nature is bipolar. Yeah, if you go upside down, it's bipolar, or you turn it straight up, it's bipolar. Either way, it's a paradox. The law of polarity. One thing can mean so many different things at a time. That's right. That's why I think biblically it says, lean not to your own understanding. That doesn't mean be stupid and shut up and do what people tell you. It means there is more than one way to see something or to know something. So lean not to your own understanding, but look at all the different ways something means something. Mhm. Find many different ways to see it. Is acceptance a frequency? It depends. Like, how are you feeling that day? Are you feeling accepting that day or not? Like, you be in a bad mood and not want to talk to nobody that day. Is that your permanent frequency or is it just your frequency for that day? So it just depends on what you're feeling at the time. You can't believe I used to take lithium. Oh my goodness. I don't know nothing about that. Um, you was trying to figure out because if you say ye are gods, why not lean to your own understanding? But I get what you're saying. Okay, ye are gods, true. But as a god, do you have the same consciousness and perspective as someone lesser than you or on a lower consciousness than you? Do you understand it the same way that they do? Do you value time the same way as someone who may be on a lower level of consciousness? Do you value information and science as much as someone on a lower level of frequency? Um, no, there's going to be different types of value. So you're going to lean to your own understanding as a God, but you're not going to understand someone who is not on your level yet. And so, therefore, you're not going to be able to see from their perspective. So, you, as a God, you should be able to see from a lower perspective all the way up to your perspective. And if you can't, then why are you there? Come back down till you understand what each one or each level is representing and how you could understand it. There's levels to it. So that's why I say, you know, there's demigods. If you want to go there, then there's God, and then there's, the arc, and they have all the pantheon, but there's always levels to any type of deity or pantheon because there's different levels of consciousness that go with those levels. Hmm. He said you learn to love you love to learn and be enlightened, but bills in life haven't made it real ideal. I know. Some people find a way to make it ideal. Some people have to work and you save to make it an ideal, and some people take the shortcut. I mean, but either way, at least you're on a path to get there. Hmm. I've always been a fan of Wonder Woman, and after your research, you found it's Ishtar. You know, um, that video Family Feud by Jay-Z. I think Beyonce singing in the background in a church. Um, that video talks about how the future is female, and um, blah 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 blah. Like Tesla was speaking, but I don't know. You can watch it, but definitely, I was doing a video. I don't know if it was on my other channel, but I was talking about how the future was female and what Tesla said about women and blah 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 blah. And a lot of people mistook that as, or they just maybe they didn't read too much on Tesla, but they took Tesla as someone who was like not distracted by women and da 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 da. But they don't ever mention where he speaks about how women will become superior in the future. They skip that part. So who knows? A great show on, and you know what? It doesn't matter about superiority or not. I think it just basically matters on what he. It's still his opinion. So we don't ever have to take what he says as fact either. Not even like not Tesla, because his opinion of what superior means to him and only him. What was his focus on? His focus was on knowledge, technology, the ability to receive knowledge, the ability to transfer and transform energy into wireless communication. So his opinion of what superior is maybe having a strong psychic connection, Having a strong, an easier way to communicate, being able to receive more, um, frequency through technology and wireless because of the woman's body and how she's more electromagnetic. So he could mean superior in his train of thought. You know what I mean? So I would not say superior on all levels because that's not true. Like, but if we go back to the Matrix, the movie, and we see how they plug up Neo to like a computer and instantly knowledge is transferred to his mind and he becomes a superior martial artist or a superior telekinesis, I don't know, whatever, then it could be that easy in the Matrix. That's why a lot of people want to control women. A lot of people want to be around certain types of women. A lot of people want to influence women so that they can have that advantage. But if you know that, you're like, okay, well, you as a woman yourself have the ability to change your thoughts and your type of influence and your frequency as well at will at any time. So just keep that in mind. Um, if you choose to. Or you can be like, I don't really care today. I'm just going to be me and I'm going to do da 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 da. And I'm not really concerned about what other people got going on because I have a superior frequency. You know, and some days you're like, I know you lying. I know I don't think so. So it just depends. Um, you have to look more into Ishtar because Ishtar is a, it's like Isis or Osset. hmm Power is very elusive, right? But see, the thing is, I talked about this in my other video. If you already have power, you don't seek power. You already got it, so there's no reason for you to fill a void of it and seeking it. So that's how you know. I think that's how Tesla came to his conclusion. If you are automatically always seeking power by trying to get it from somewhere else, that means you don't have it naturally. That's it. So that automatically shows you, like, okay, that's the power is going to seek. People seek power. Power doesn't seek people. So people already know if they just open their eyes and on a higher level of consciousness. It's already there, laid out for you to see. And if you don't choose to see it, Nikola Tesla also talks about ignorance and how the greatest crime is to stay ignorant. And so some people just choose to stay ignorant, or they don't look on a deeper level, and that's how they live their life, on that level of consciousness, and that will be the quality of their life. When people look on deeper levels and seek more and see what truly is, on their own level of consciousness, or try to get to a higher level of consciousness, then they can get more and see more and know more about themselves as well as other people. It's not just, oh, I'm great and I'm smart and I have all this knowledge and information and I'm all that. It's like, I know myself. And to know yourself, you can know someone else. Just like they say, if you don't love yourself, you can't love someone else. So if you know yourself, you can love yourself with flaws and all, which means you can do that to other people as well, which means you're less judgmental, which means you're more able to see them for who they are right then and there, not who they were yesterday. And so when you're looking at someone, you don't automatically label them something as if they're an inanimate object with no mind. We're going to treat each other like objects who are programmed to only make one type of decision. No, so that's how I see people. I don't see people, I don't label people. I mean, you could say they're being this way right now, but you can't permanently label someone. That's why I don't take labels. When you decide to be something or be like something, that's who you're deciding to be that day. I'm not going to be the same every single day of my life. Then, like, exactly, then you'd be a robot with no upgrades. You'd be artificial intelligence with no upgrade. So you can't label people this or that. You got to allow them to be creators and create the life and the decisions that they want each day. We're not people's judge. I'm not anyone's judge. And they're not my judge either. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Now, there comes a time where you're like, okay, well, you're cool and everything, but, we're going and moving in two separate directions. And, it was cool doing, this with you, but I'm going this way. So you're going that way. So see you later. It's no judgment. It's just, it is what it is, and no hard feelings, and moving on. You don't have to judge anyone. You don't have to talk trash about anyone. You don't have to label and mark someone. You don't have to try to drag someone down and bring them down. The only reason why people do that is to make themselves look higher than they already feel that they are. Power does not seek, you know, uh, people. People seek power. That's all I say. So that's why I have no interest or no reason to do a lot of things that people do themselves, because I know who I am. Now, if we're playing and trolling and I'm on that level with you guys, like on my other channel, that's my balance. If I troll with the best of them, I could troll with the worst of them. And then over here, I can, talk this way, because I can do both. I don't need to seek out this or that, because I already got both. Exactly like that. I know on both sides. You got to know both sides. Sometimes trolling is fun if you're playing and they know you're playing. They know you're playing. They know. Uh, because like they're not blocked, they still show up, and they tip you to troll them. So sometimes it's for fun, but for those people who take it too seriously and really feel hurt and things like that, that might be a problem. It's difficult to listen to the manosphere too long. It's even they're just doing they're just balancing out. You gotta have how they balance stuff, and they have the weights, the lead weights, and then they have the gold over here. They gotta have that other side. Um, you know. Without that, they can't see this. And and I'm not trying to be biased or anything, but if a man has to feel a certain way about himself to feel relevant, to justify how he treats women, then that's their problem. I don't know. So he said that's a whole nother level of power. That's true. I can't do your other channel too much. You have to go slow with your other channel. I do come from thumbs up, but it's difficult. Yeah, my other channel is for women who don't care and have a certain type of goal. You know what I'm saying? They're very much focused on certain things. I'll say that. And not everyone is the same. So remember I was talking about that shortcut earlier? Someone said they are too busy focusing on paying bills and trying to make ends meet, and they don't have time to really read and get focused on this type of knowledge and have time to read. Well, some women take a shortcut, and it you know what I'm saying? So they have that time, and they're able to focus, and they're able to see from different perspectives, and they're able to take a break, and they're able to see things on a different level because they have that time. So some people, that channel, if you're trying to take a shortcut, you might need a little break. Tired of working. Okay, that's what that channel's for women. Anyway. But y'all know what I mean. Like, I don't discriminate and say, oh, well, you should do this. Like, that's up to you as an individual. That's just my way of saying, here, this is how I got my shortcut. There's always a way. Like, what's his name? The guy that discovered gravity, Isaac Newton. The Catholic Church or some church hired him, and he was studying other stuff, esoteric stuff on their dime, and he was getting paid to study stuff and publish it in the name of that church. He was using them so he could have a facility, shelter, and a lab. That was his shortcut. Some people are funded by churches. Some people are funded by sugar daddies. Some people are funded by GoFundMe. Whatever you can find to fund yourself to get to the higher knowledge, that's what people do sometimes. So it doesn't really matter. It just depends on your preference of how you want to free yourself or allow somebody to help free you from certain levels so that your consciousness has the time to grow and increase due to not being in survival mode. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a saying like, a hungry man cannot smell the roses. Okay, that's how you do that. You said your shortcut is waiting on you to call back. Oh my goodness. It is what it is. Look, I'm honest about it, so who cares? It doesn't, like I said, don't judge people. People get it in different ways. Some people take security jobs to sleep and get paid on a graveyard shift. So, and would you have liked to be married to a witchy man, or was it nope? Because then who gonna go out and get the money? Okay, sprinkle. So we can't both be doing the same thing. And you talking about, our minds will be too similar. Maybe if they were already permanently established, with their growing stability, perhaps. So what if they was making good money? Then, okay, maybe not. Then it would see. I can't be on the same level. I can't be on your level. You got to either be smarter than me or not doing the same thing, because then it would become a competition. I don't like that. Okay, either you gonna teach me or I'm gonna beat you. Either way, we about to slide. Either you're gonna teach me or I'm going to bypass you. That's how it has to be. So, Snoop Dogg will be performing at the Super Bowl. Anubis, baby. I was at the grocery store the other day, and they had that 13 Crimes wine up with Snoop Dogg's face on it, because he has his face on that 13 Crimes wine. He has his own um, particular bottle. It's like, and then I saw that Super Bowl commercial with, I think, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Mary J. Blige, and somebody else. I forgot who it was. Eminem. I don't know. I forgot who was it. But gangster rap ain't nothing but a Jeep thing, baby. The Apple headphones, the Dre Beats, the Forbidden Fruit, Snoop, I see you, Dog, Anubis, weighs your heart on a scale with the feather of my aunt, feather frequency plasma collector. Your heart is a torus field that beats. Is your frequency lining up with the electromagnetic spectrum, baby? I don't know. Snoop Dogg might tell you at the Super Bowl. Anyway. Doop, 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 doop. People gonna be crip walking at the Super Bowl. Oh my goodness. Then we gonna have Mary J. Blige out there. She gonna have on some boots. Mary. Um. It's gonna be interesting. I watch the halftime show. I don't watch the sports. Boring. Mm, about to turn the Super Bowl into a dancery. He's so silly. Um, no botheration, hateration in this dancery. She gonna sing that. Let's get it crunk. Um, that's gonna be kind of cool though. Like, we never had something like that with all like these gangster rappers and the queen of hip hop, whatever they call Magic Life. Um, you got the queen, you got Anubis, and you got Osiris. Dre represents Osiris. Mm-hmm. And we got Mary, Isis, and we got Snoop Anubis. There you go. It's gonna be a ritual, y'all. Is there another person? I know there was one more, but anyway, we about to have a good old fashioned comedic ritual. Y'all get y'all popcorn. You said J Lo gonna be there. She was there like 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. Is she coming back? Oh, I don't know. Well, anyway, it's gonna be interesting. You said is Kanye gonna be there? Mm-mm. So I don't know. I don't know what Kanye plans are, but I don't. I know that I only know those three are performing. I don't know if there's a fourth person. Mm, you said J-Lo gonna be there for real? I don't know. You're new and love all of your valuable information on here. Thank you for sharing. You're welcome. This is what I really like to do, but sometimes I feel like people don't want to hear it, or people get mad when I talk about certain things. But I thought, talk about a pigeon may be helpful in some form or fashion, maybe. So I gotta go. What if they ask me to perform? Perform what? I'm not a performer. Yeah. Oh, you said Eminem and Kendrick Lamar? They gonna be there too? Oh yeah. Kendrick Lamar, that's his name is already code. M and M, how it's spelled, like a paradox. Um, can you speak on the crate challenge? I don't know nothing about no crate challenge. Sprinkle sprinkle. Like I'm not on TikTok and stuff like that. Or I don't. I mean, if I research it and stuff, but I don't know. I don't even know what that is. Donda kind of represents the same thing as the pigeon or the pigeon. You asked me about Donda. I decoded that on my Patreon. The Donda listening party, sprinkle sprinkle. And they say Kanye is probably going to come out with a line of tech items, like tech merch, and call it Donda because it means it's technology. It's the same thing. Mhm. Thank you, on and sprinkle sprinkle. Appreciate that. So, decode people's names, break them down into different names if you have to, and use the etymology to help look up the meaning. Like you can't just do the definition anymore. You got to get into the etymology, the origin and the etymology of a word, and breaking down words into separate words. And that's how you decode some of these words. You said crate challenge is like a ritual stepping up the pyramids. Oh, okay. Mhm. Well, that's a lower form of an example of how a suggestion or thought can be sent out and to like TikTok as a trend or a challenge, and then everybody will hop on and do it, ask no questions, don't know what they're doing, and just participating in something that they have no idea about. And so I feel that if you're going to do a challenge, ask yourself, is this your challenge? Is this a challenge for you that you personally have to overcome? Or are you just following trend or doing what the next person is doing? Like, what are you doing? I'm not going to do anything I'm not going to call anything a challenge unless it's something personal to me. I'm not going to just hop on a trend and do it just because everyone else is doing it. That means you're a mindless drone. And they're exploiting children by doing this, especially on TikTok or dumb adults, either way. So, it shows you how easily you can be manipulated through technology or through social media, or how dumb people really are and who ask no questions and who don't look deeper, and who's on some this level of consciousness and who's not. you know it's almost like, let's see who's stupid, who's dumb, who's on this level of consciousness, who's going to look deeper, who ain't, who's going to just follow trend, blah 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 blah, who's going to try to find a conspiracy in it, who's going to break it down, who's going to do this. They're going to see where people's minds are and what levels they're on. The majority of people are just going to hop on and do it because the majority of people are not looking on a deeper level and trying to broaden their consciousness. So they're still seeing how many people they're going to be able to control and how many they're not going to be able to control. You know? It was police officers doing the challenge too. To me, it's like, I'm not judging, but I'm just saying, I think, like I said, people are watching who does what, how easily it is to get people to do this and do that. And before you know it, there's going to be another type of challenge that has to do with something more personal. Thank you, Aunt Anna. Sprinkle, sprinkle. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people are against certain things. All they got to do is make it a challenge to make it acceptable. So just for 1 second, sit back and contemplate all these challenges. And one day, something that so many people are against, all they got to do is make it a challenge. And it's done. So yeah, don't hop on them challenges like that. Like, they got people stealing stuff out of the school restrooms. It's called like some type of, I don't know what's that challenge called? The devious lick or something like that. Stealing stuff out of the school. So they made your kids criminals in 2 seconds. Your kids are now criminals and have probably for defacing property, damaging school property, stealing school property. Now your kids are instant criminals because it became a stupid challenge. And now some kids probably have records now that wouldn't have had a record before. Or some kids now have disciplinary problems who never had disciplinary problems before because some stupid TikTok challenge. There's cameras everywhere, so somebody saw something. And so I'm like, y'all are stupid over there and deviously. Y'all better steal some toilet paper and call it a day. Okay. So, like, just think about this is how easily, and they start them young. Like, that's why they start them on TikTok. They start with children. They're training and programming them kids. And I teach my kids every day. All those challenges are coded and stupid, and they're trying to control you. See how stupid y'all are. And if you do it, at least know the meaning behind it, or think about it, or delete it if you don't. People stealing at a big age too. Yeah, you see. So, what's the next one going to be? Running red lights? Hope not. That's why, like, you gotta see who's evolved and who's not in this world. Okay, and that's a way to tell. Or you got to program people to do exactly what you say or follow something in order to control them. In this day and age, people have an issue with not being on trend or not being able to participate in a challenge, or they're not thinking correctly. They're just following. To tackle paper. Yeah. So I'm not worried about, like, certain things, but you you just have to know that technology, or they call artificial intelligence, like on the Matrix, how those machines develop their own agenda or whatever, or those people have different agendas, and not everybody is nice. Not everybody is going to be on the up and up. Not everybody's going to want the same thing. So you got to remember that. You said I don't have time for folks running red lights with no insurance. Okay. You don't. The new Matrix movie comes out soon. I know, and I like that trailer. They're trying to make it seem like Neo was like mentally unstable and he imagined the whole thing. But that's also a frequency to make you think that something was wrong with you the whole time when he was, I only saw a little bit of the preview. They try to make it look like he was mentally unstable and he imagined the whole thing. I'm like, okay. Um, well, why would they try to convince you so hard that you're mentally unstable and you imagine the whole thing? You know, so that's a whole thing within itself. Hmm. Like, I kind of like a test to see if you know who you are still. This lady was really hating on you, and all I did was remind me to come check you out. And like, girl, I don't care if people hate on me. I'm unhateable. Have you seen the no such thing as coincidence? God, right? Sprinkle, sprinkle. You know, yeah, I don't care. People can't hate on me. I love myself so much. The hate just get knocked off. It's like, and so get in line. It's a long line, okay? It's a long line. They can't get in. Ah, it's like at the club, all the ugly people outside. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Um, all all the people that hate, all the people that have something to say, all the people whose opinion does not matter to me are outside the club. That's how we go. We're not we're not talking about ugly people because anybody can be beautiful or ugly. We're talking about people that got something to say or opinions to have or hateration in a dancery or whatever. They're outside the club waiting. And that's where they stay. Sprinkle, sprinkle. So I could care less what they think about me. That's their personal issue, not mine. Hmm. It's like, y'all, you got a problem? Sounds personal to me. um. Hmm. They can't even get in. How you gonna hate outside the club? Okay. We don't care. Like, what are my views on Mercury retrograde and the best way to take advantage of it? Act like it don't exist. Do what you was gonna do anyway. Keep moving. It's a circle, remember? A Pigeon. Do the matrix stop because of an illusion? Hmm. No, it keeps going. It going. The circle keeps going. Keep going. Don't matter. It's an illusion. It's like when you're in a car and the car next to you is slowly moving up and you think your car is moving, so you slam on the brakes, but you already stopped. That's all it's gonna get you to do, mess up yourself. Just ignore it. Look straight ahead. Don't be looking on the side. Who cares what they doing over there? Keep on your path. If okay, that way you won't get confused. Do I believe in destiny? Um, if I can create it. But then is it really destiny? Hmm. You hate the idea of Squid Games? I never seen that. It looks silly. Like I saw that preview and I was like, that's the stupidest thing. And that's what they're really doing to people on a social media level. That's what they're really doing to people on a level of social media and YouTube, but in different ways. Trying to pit people against each other to see how far they'll go, see who'll do this, see who'll do that, see who'll blah 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 blah. It's like, you know what? Y'all all stupid. Mm-hmm. You said it's comical. Yeah, I hadn't even watched it, but I saw like a little bit of it. Preview. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But anyway, I gotta go because I've been on here a little while. But thank y'all so much for watching. If y'all want to join the Patreon, the link is below, and I'll also link it in the permanent comments so that y'all can join if you like decoding. And also, I have like a paranormal journal, um, weekly prompts on there if you like to journal about experiences that you may have had. Or I'll have a lot of decoding on there where I break stuff down, pictures and typing stuff out. And then I also have a lot of PDF books on there where you can read like alchemy books, just different books that are relevant to, this occult knowledge and things like that already available. Just type in PDF books in the search when you're on my Patreon. All the books will come up. Use keywords and stuff to find what you're looking for. But I definitely appreciate all the new members that joined on YouTube. Hey, thank y'all. And everybody who donated. And I will see y'all on the next one. Oh, I'll link my new makeup as well. Thank you. Sprinkle, sprinkle. I can link it in here. Hold on. I'll try to link the new collection here. Hold on. This is all the new collection. Let's see if I can find it. Boop. Here we go. And that way y'all can have it. Uh-oh, thank you, Anna, again. There's also journals, pens, and stuff like that in the stationery section as well. I'll pin that. Oh, the makeup. Appreciate that. I know this isn't the level up channel, but I just want to tell you that you literally saved from an abusive pet. Oh, well, I'm glad. Sprinkle, sprinkle. I'm glad I could help. I appreciate that. I'm glad you're okay. But now I gotta go. I'll see y'all later.